Good evening and welcome to the Monday night Bryan City Council meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 2 is election of president for 2025 and vice president for 2025.
So at this point, council, you can ask for some nominations. I don't know if you want to do president first and then vice president. Probably the easiest way to do, but if anyone wants to nominate a fellow council member for president, we will take those now. It's not that hard. I try not to be that hard on any of you. Nobody jump up and down at once.
I'll nominate Mary Leatherman again.
Okay.
Any other nominations from the floor? Okay, so we will close that nomination. You want to do roll? Mr. Leonard?
Guess I should have said
first and a second. No.
Oh, just an opening of nomination. Would you like them to make a motion? Is that easier for you? Yeah.
You know, I think that the way I have it written would be, so we have Mary as the only nominee for the president. We could nominate vice president and then have a single motion to, there was a single motion a year ago that approved both the president and the vice president. Doesn't matter to me, but that is how it was done last year.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up nominations for vice president. Are there any nominations?
If you want to do them separately, we certainly can.
I don't care.
I'll nominate Rick Hoopie.
I would
Any other-
accept that nomination.
Any other nominations?
No.
Okay. Now you would like the motion.
So in that case, we would like a motion to appoint Mary Leatherman as the president and Rick Hoopie as the vice president
So
for
moved.
2025.
So moved.
I'll second.
John,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
Okay, well, we.
And I just moved down there, right?
Reset. Yep, you two switch seats.
Bye, Jim. It's good knowing you.
Absolutely.
The music stops.
I don't know if he needs that.
Mary, do you mind if you go?
Oops.
I think that goes stuff.
Can't believe they keep trusting me with glass. Go ahead and go over here. So, Mary, this plaque is from the city, in recognition of your year of presidency for 2024. I certainly appreciate your leadership, your availability, and your, quite frankly, the first parts of the month, just letting me vent to you about all the awful that was going on. Appreciate you working with us on noise ordinance, golf carts, all of the great things that we brought for legislation to council. So thank you. This is good for you. Appreciate it. Oh, that'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me put this back in. Yes. Gotcha.
Okay, item number 3 is approval of the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes. Item number 4 is hearing of public concerns. Mr. Cox?
Hold on 1 second, Mr. Cox. I don't want to make noise while you're talking. Sorry. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. First thing I'd like to say is I hope Santa Claus was kind to each and every one of you. And the second thing is I wish everybody a Happy New Year.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep it real quick tonight. if we could have a 2-week notification for the meeting to discuss the repair work necessary to Huntington Drive and Environment.
When did this go on? Because this is
So-
3 weeks, almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, he doesn't know about that.
Oh.
So I will be addressing that conversation on when the meeting will be at the end of the council meeting. The council just was presented a draft copy of a letter.
Oh,
That is
I
a
thought it was
draft.
gone out. I'm
Nope,
sorry.
the residents have not gotten it yet. That
Okay.
was for you to
Well,
know what they're
obviously,
going to
we'd
get.
like to have as much time as possible to be able to rearrange our schedules if necessary
Sure.
to attend. The other is, given the weird weather that we're having at this particular point, there is still loose gravel on Huntington Drive and Environment. If it would be possible to get the sweepers out to pick up as much gravel as possible before the snow plows put it in our front yards, that would be greatly appreciated.
Is it possible, Tyson?
Not anymore.
Oh, well, why don't you tell me why?
There's too much salt everywhere, and the freezing temperatures, we can't get the sweeper out till spring. We swept it 3 times before it got cold. Did you hear me?
I heard most of it, I'm kind of plugged up, so I'm sorry.
I didn't.
Well, maybe it's some
You
age
didn't
thing
hear
too,
it?
but I don't.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't hear it
I
either?
didn't hear what he said
Go,
either.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's too cold right now. The sweeper will
Oh, the
freeze.
sweeper won't pick it up because it's too cold.
Well, everything will freeze inside of it, and there's the salt on the roads will eat the sweeper from the inside out.
Oh.
So we can't sweep until spring, but we did go through there 3 times
Okay,
to suck up what we could before the weather turned.
okay. That sounds understandable. Sounds like what Mr. Cox is saying. He's concerned that when the snow plows come through, it's
Yeah.
gonna
End up in yards.
end up in the yards.
Because there is a fair amount
Yeah.
of loose.
But you
snow.
heard,
Yeah,
yeah. I
And
mean, I
again-
don't want very expensive equipment and from the inside out or from the outside in for that purpose, but yeah.
Yeah, because unfortunately, that snow gets sucked up in the machine, so it would do the same with that salt, and it's just very corrosive.
okay, well, believe me, as a chemist, I understand that
Sure.
salt can be corrosive.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'll get to your first point at the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item number 5 is approval for suggested committees for 2023.
Okay, so I gave you a list last year. Last year, Budget Committee was John and Mary. So if you would like to stay on it, please let everyone know, and if you would like to not, also let us know so we can see if another council member would like that opportunity.
I don't think it's from my perspective on budget, I've been on it, I don't know, this is my 6th or 7th year.
Yeah.
I've been on it probably at least 4
You just,
years.
I think, finished year 6.
Yeah, so 4 of those 6, I've been on the budget committee. And I will serve on it again, but, don't write me in yet, but I feel as though it's very important. Budget, wage, and negotiating are the 3 that have helped me learn the intricacies of the city from a conceptual and a day-to-day operation. So, and I mean immensely helped me. So I understand other people's schedules, et cetera. Budget's not that bad. I think this year it was like just that, it's like
Yeah.
5 hours.
Yeah.
But it does take some, some of us, it takes some prep time. I usually go over it a few hours before. I mean, putting a few hours before we meet with the budget folks. I'm willing to serve on it again, but I would prefer someone else that hasn't, that will help them understand the city more. Does that make sense?
Sure.
In other words, I'll be a backup if nobody else
Yeah, I
Once.
feel like the only one that's not been on budget might be Mr. Allspaw, though, of the council. I think the other four have.
Been on budget?
Yes, and just for clarification, I think you served 6 years on budget. This is
Oh,
starting
really?
year 8 of you being a council member. I didn't want to take 2 years off your,
Yeah, and it's going through, it's doing quite well due to past and current management, but it's also a very good way, if Steve's interested, it's a very good way to learn the city process. I know he's got a financial background anyway with the school, but.
yeah, I think the concern was, though, it's right before or right after that Thanksgiving break typically.
Yes.
So for your work purposes on your full-time job, I think that time of year is rough, but that is your consideration to make.
So that's just for discussion, I mean, you know, with us, I certainly don't need more experience with the budget committee, but I have no problem serving on it. Is there 2 others that would be interested?
I'd like to stay on it one more year, because it was very educational.
Very.
Well, since I'm the new guy, still, I'll go ahead and go that route.
Okay.
I have no idea what the time commitment will be, but we'll work it out.
Yeah, we typically keep
I
you
usually
for the
couldn't.
day from like 9 in the morning until, actually, we got finished this year by 2:30, which is
Yeah, it was
usually
early.
not the case.
Yeah.
Typically, it's till 4:30, and then sometimes you meet after and kind of pick through some things while it's still fresh.
The prior time, only because of my compulsivity probably.
Was a subsequent
was-
meeting.
I mean, I go through the budget fairly well, and probably most of the managers and supervisors will tell you too well. But I would say I probably put in 4 to 6 hours prior, and that's atypical. That's not typical, that's atypical. But, and then it's like that 5 or 6 hours that day, if that helps. And I think that both of you would be very good on the budget committee. And I appreciated the time that I did it. It's the best way to learn how the city operates.
Okay, so we have Mary and Steve. We're going to move on to finance and audit. So currently that is Jim and Steve. You want to stay on that?
I'll do it.
I'm fine with it.
And then next is wage, and I do want a little, just want to make a little comment on that. We did budget for a wage analysis similar to what BMU just did for their non-bargaining, so there will probably be some extra meetings, some extra time in that. That will be led by Tricia Lyons. So I would probably say, don't make him guilt you into that one, Mr. Allspaw. No. I anticipate some significant time on that this year,
I like who's on it.
which is currently John and Rick.
If they're good
I'm fine with
it.
that.
That's, yeah, so am I. Once again, it's a very good way to learn detail about the wage process. But I think budget even more so. So, yeah, I'm fine
Okay.
with staying on that.
All right, tax incentive review.
I mean, since, if Steve wants to get off of something, I mean, I could do that, if, you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to continue on, that's fine too. But I didn't want you feeling over.
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Fine with staying on?
Mhm.
Okay,
Just keep it as is.
so that is Jim and Steve. All right, negotiation teams, just so you're aware, we are in the middle of fire, but not to a point that we couldn't change the negotiation team. And then also, we believe we'll have the police department up as well at the end of the year.
What department, I'm sorry?
Police, which is Sergeant Patrol,
Fire and police.
yeah. So Jim, are you willing to stay on?
Yeah.
Okay. Mary, you had
Yeah, I wanna
expressed
go
some
off- I wanna go
concern.
off that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what
Mary
Mary
is
said.
I'm
is
going off
asking
that
to
one. 'cause
not
Work
be.
just does not allow me to be able to do that one.
Unless you want to do Steve and Rick, or not Steve and Rick, John and Rick, since you're on the wage.
The only thing I will say to that is you did meet with fire,
Yeah.
so I prefer you stay on if you are willing to.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, I've been on that too, at least twice, 3 times, I don't know,
Do you have
a lot.
any
I have never been on that.
Oh, you have not?
I have not.
Would you
Would you be
prefer?
willing
I'd
to?
I'd
Oh,
be
okay.
willing to do that one.
Great.
Okay. Rick and Jim. Revolving loan fund, currently Mary.
Yeah, I can do that.
And then BIPAC is we typically leave that to the council president.
That's fine.
All right, so I'm just going to reread these, make sure I have everything right. For budget, we have Mary and Steve. Finance and audit, Steve and Jim. Wage, John and Rick. Tax incentive, Jim and Steve. Negotiations, Rick and Jim. Revolving loan fund, Mary. BIPAC, Mary. Okay, with that, we're also adding Bryan, Wieland, and Tiana Traxler as prevailing wage coordinators and ADA compliance officer Patrick Thorp. So, if this is correct, I would ask that you guys make a motion to approve the slate for the budget, or I'm sorry, for the committees for 2025.
So moved.
Second,
Steve,
Yes.
John,
yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes, excuse me.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Choked up.
Item number 6 is an ordinance. John, please number and read.
Ordinance number 1, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a right of first refusal agreement with Schlachter Investments LLC for the purchase of certain property located in the Bryan Industrial Park.
So council, you similarly did one for Allied Molded, same agreement, but this would be for Schlachter Investments LLC for an adjacent parcel. This would be Lot 29 in the South Industrial Park. Mr. Schlachter is interested in entering a first right of refusal so that should he choose to expand, he gets the first call if we are looking at that property for anything else. Do you have any questions or concerns with that?
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
Move to approve,
I'll second.
John,
yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes. Item number 7 is the ordinance. John, please number and read.
Ordinance number 2, 2025, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Smith Paving and Excavating Incorporated for the project known as WILCR 502 0.37 West South Sidewalk.
Good evening. This is the Safe Routes to School project. Back on December 11th, we received 3 bids. Smith Paving and Excavating was the lowest bid at $252,214.50. This project will consist of putting sidewalk on West South Street, continuing from where the last project left off on Noble Drive and extending it down to Main Street. It'll be on the south side of South Street. This is an ODOT project, and we will get 90% of the construction costs reimbursed through ODOT. All the easements are obtained, and construction could start in spring. We are requesting that you suspend the rules and award this project, so it's within 30 days of the bid.
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
Steve, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask, what
Oh, I'm
is,
sorry.
no.
Okay, he looked.
What is the difference between the original version and the revised one we received tonight?
Yeah, the word for is
Sorry.
replaced with of. No, it's okay. I didn't get to you before. So section 3, it says that this ordinance is necessary for the immediate preservation of the public instead of for.
Okay.
And Mr. Fischel asked me to change that at 3 PM today. So it's just a little verbiage of he wanted it changed, so here we are. So something of major significance.
Right.
Yes, he replaced the word "for" with "of."
Because I was looking at this beforehand, I'm like,
Well, I honestly had to email him back and say, what did you even change? Because he said, I made a slight change in section 3, and I'm looking at it, and all the words are lining up, so
yeah, that's, okay.
Yep.
I was doing the same thing.
that's
All right.
it.
Sorry.
Sorry, so John, you made a motion.
I did it.
Who seconded?
Rick.
Rick, thank you.
So John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
And I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 is a resolution. John, please number and read.
Resolution number 1, 2025, a resolution to authorize the fire chief to accept a grant of $2,160 from the State of Ohio Fire Marshal for Mark's Radio use fees.
Good evening. This is a non-matching grant, meaning that the state is providing all the money. This is user fees that we're required to pay for operation on the Marks Radio. Fortunately, fire departments are able to apply for this grant, and they're giving us 100% of the fees in this grant for the next year.
Because you already have Mark radios.
We have the
correct?
Marks radios. This is
Okay.
simply the monthly fees that we're required to pay.
Okay.
I'll move to suspend.
I'll second.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
And I'll move to approve.
Second.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes. Item number 9, Fire Department Fund.
Yes, you should have a letter before you that has a committee members on this. These are the same as last year, and again, I thank council members that have agreed to serve on this board that we hope that never actually has to meet.
I'll move to approve.
Approve. Second.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Item number 10 is reappoint Park Board member.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
In front of you, you should have a letter from me requesting to reappoint Paula Klein for her second term on the Bryan Parks and Recreation Board.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.
Can I ask
Thank
one
you.
question? Can you specify the years? Is it 25, 26, 27?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 11 is appointment to the Maumee Valley Planning Organization.
Council, this is an annual designation to appoint myself as the representative for the city of Bryan on the Executive Council for Maumee Valley Planning Organization. Your motion will approve this action.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Rick?
It was Steve.
I'm sorry.
Steve.
Steve?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
And Mary. Sorry
Yes.
about that, thanks.
It's okay. That concludes the items on the agenda. We'll go around the room. Mayor?
Yes. First of all, again, thank you for your leadership in the year of 2024. We look forward to working with you, passing meaningful legislation for the community in 2025. I have a couple items here. We are looking for 2 members to do a 3-year term for the Community Reinvestment Area Housing. They honestly meet once a year with Andy to approve any CRAs that the city council has approved throughout the year. So if anyone is interested in that, I would ask that they reach out to me either by mail or email, mayor@cityofbryan.com or Bryan City Hall, P.O. Box 190, Bryan. So if you have anyone that you think would be interested in filling this position, currently we have TJ Zimmerman, Joyce Walker, Dan Yaris, and Mayor Johnson on this committee, but we are looking for 2 more.
3.
3 more? Yes, 3 more individuals from the community that have Again, the only requirement is they live in the city of Bryan, but so that they could meet annually so we can fulfill this CRA agreement. Luckily for us, that's usually done in fall and winter, so we do have some time. The second thing, you were given a draft letter that will be mailed with your permission to the Eastland Estate residents, probably early next week. We are hoping to have a meeting here on the second floor of the Don North Building in council chambers on Thursday, January 23rd at 5:30 PM for any resident that would like to discuss or have conversation with council and the city engineer about their street and subdivision out there. There are some question and answers that Bryan has included in this letter, as well as the ability to contact him if they cannot make the meeting. But if council is okay, we want to move forward with getting this draft in.
You said early next week, is it possible later this week?
Well, I mean, I can hope for that, but when Mr. Wieland left the office today, he said early next week. So,
Actually send the letter?
yeah, because they have to address, they need to go.
Could you
get-
check with him and see if it's
Sure.
possible? I think the request was 2, so if it's like
Yeah.
the 9th, that'd be good, right? That's this Thursday, right?
Thursday. Yeah, I don't know, do you have the addresses pulled for envelope chat? Do you happen to know?
I can.
You can?
it right for Thursday.
All right, sure.
Yeah, because
So if we could have it by the 9th, that would give the full 2 weeks.
Yeah, post office time.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, Christmas is over, they got lots of time.
Lots.
Kidding, I'm kidding.
Those poor people that were delivering all the packages.
Yeah.
They're quite overworked this season. Then I think that is it.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
and this will be the exact, what I'm looking at here is the exact letter that will be mailed.
If you're okay with that, yes, other than the date will change probably to January 9th from January 3rd.
Okay,
I reviewed it and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good
fine
with it.
yeah.
Okay,
It's an explanation letter and.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
It's an explanation invitation letter.
great.
Right. I'm cool with it.
Fair, Mr. Cox?
Sounds so.
Okay.
John, anything?
No.
No. Department heads, anything? Newspapers? With that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Steve,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes.